This is Pete from Pete's Backyard Barbecue. Unfortunately, today we're not talking barbecue, we're talking shoulder surgery. These are the 5 do's and don'ts that I uncovered during my time for this shoulder surgery. Now, I'm speaking from experience because I had shoulder surgery on my left arm, my non-dominant arm, several years ago. But it is night and day difference when you have your right arm or my dominant arm, where that's the arm you're used to using the most. Now, I've watched tons of YouTube videos on before and after, but I just didn't find these top 5 things that I wanted you to know. I'm not a doctor. Please consult professional help, experience, share this video with them to see if any of these tips or tricks will help you. So stay tuned, let's get started. Now, here's the problem I found out after surgery. You get sent home, you got all this prep, but you're not gonna see your doctor for probably 7 days till after the surgery. And yes, you have a helpline and the staff is incredible. They wanna help you, but it's over the phone. And so this is why that 7-day period is so important to understand what the 5 do's and don'ts are. So that will help you through this process. So I hope at least one of these tips will help you. Thanks for listening. Number 1 do is do as much as you can before your surgery. You know that you're not gonna be without an arm for 6 weeks at least in this sling, and then you've got rehab. So here are some things you could do 1 to 2 weeks before your surgery. Clean your garage, break down your boxes, put anything heavy away, return all your Amazon packages, go to the grocery store, go to Costco, get your food prep ready, get your clothes prepped, get comfortable clothes you're gonna have for the next week and plus. Fix your TV, you're gonna watch a lot of TV, make sure that works. Make sure your chair and bed are set up so that you can be in a reclining position and comfortable. Let coworkers know that you're gonna be gone in the upcoming surgery. Plan some sick time for your surgery and just afterwards. Also get an adjustable desk and a chair with armrests so that you can actually raise and lower when you do go back to work. A lot of companies are still allowing you to expense that item for work from home. Now do 1 to 2 days before your surgery, do your grooming. Get a shorter haircut. Mind those ear hairs and nose hairs. Trim your toenails and fingernails. Set up your recliner in a sleep area. Get the pillows all set for when you come home. Set up your ice machine. Put water in it so all you need to do is add ice later. Get your food prep for 3 days out. Think liquid foods like soups and chilies because you're not gonna be able to go to the bathroom for a good 3 to 4 days. Make sure you cut up your food in bite-sized chunks. Unscrew all your caps. Toothbrushes, medicines, jars, protein, fiber, powders, Miralax. Make sure you get all those screws uncapped. And then get your bathroom set up. Maybe you've got a hairdryer stand. Get your shaving mirror put up. Get pump soap, get pump shampoo, get a cordless shaver. And then stock toilet paper at all your bathrooms. Take your jewelry off the night before, set your out of office email, and then create a list and start checking them off. So that way, as you get to the night before surgery and you can't sleep, you kind of gone through your checklist, you've got them all checked off, and go to bed a little bit earlier on the day of your surgery because you're not gonna sleep anyways, but it'll allow you to actually maybe get up and do those 1 or 2 things you forgot. I hope tip number 1 helps you. The number 1 don't advice I have is don't procrastinate. Just get her done. Create a list. Start knocking them off 1 by 1. The nice thing about a list is that you can check it off as you get done. And it just clears your mind. So the night before surgery, you should have most of that stuff checked off. And go to bed a little bit earlier than you would because you're probably gonna have a couple things you might wanna order on Amazon. So the nice thing about the list is after you check it off, you'll be able to sleep easier and you won't have to worry about these projects that are haunting you that you can't do for the next 6 weeks to 6 months. And as you get closer to your surgery, things like trimming your toenails, cutting your toenails, do that as a couple days before because they don't want any cuts or open wounds or bleeding before you go into surgery. Try not to get sick. The last thing you want is a sickness to ruin your surgery. I know it's impossible to predict, but you could try to do some things to try not get sick. Also, don't think you can do it alone. The first 48 hours are critical. Find a caregiver, find a spouse, kids, something that you could help during that 48 hours. Don't do anything that's gonna aggravate your shoulder any further. So don't lift any heavy boxes, don't lift anything that you can't. You just don't wanna aggravate it any more than it already is. Number 2, make sure you ice. But there's some do's and don'ts of icing. The do is get an ice machine. This actually pumps cold water through, and get the shoulder adapter so that it could go over your shoulder and it's fitted for your shoulder. This circulates water and so it stays cold, but it doesn't have the burning ice sensation, and you could usually do it for longer. Consult your doctor, but you can actually usually keep this on a little bit longer than an ice pack. Now, before your surgery, you'll want to get about 10 bags of ice. You'll probably put between a bag or 2 a day in to keep them. You can also get these ice blocks that go in that just make the ice last a little bit longer. So that's a good tip and trick. Also, your ice machines do have timers, so you can set up the amount of time you want to ice your shoulder during that process. And then it's easy to just keep it next to you, so you can hit the play button or stop button and adjust accordingly. I do use it on a swivel chair so that I could actually have it facing outwards, because the light is pretty bright when you go to bed. So it allows me to shift the ice machine back and forth. Also, while you're icing, make sure you drink plenty of fluids. Get one of these giant water ice jugs so that while you're icing and while you're up, you can drink all these fluids. This will help with the anesthesia, it'll help with your pain medication, and it'll help just get your body back to normal. Now, the ice machine is great for that first 2 to 3 days, but eventually you're gonna actually go to ice packs. And so these ice packs came from Amazon. I alternate back and forth on days 3 through 5. Then you could go to the 2 to 3 times a day. You could put them on a towel or set them on your shoulder and do the 20 minutes every hour. So do that after the 3 to 5 days, or after the 2 to 3 days of your ice machine. The number 2 don't I have is right after surgery, they're gonna tell you to ice a lot. I said, do the ice machine. My suggestion, talk to your doctor, but I don't really advise putting the ice pack on every 20 minutes every hour. That's a lot of work. You've got to get your rest. You don't want to be up every hour worrying about this. It's also very cold to your skin. And so I use these on days 3 through 5, where you don't have to do them every hour. It's more 2 or 3 times a day. And so make sure you use your ice machine for the first 1 to 2 days, and you can use your ice packs on day 3 and 4. Number 3, don't get off your pain medication suggestions your doctor gives you. The biggest problem I've seen is if you sleep and you don't have an alarm, or you don't take your dose, you'll be in pain and it's tough to catch up. So just make sure you use your doctor's orders, but set an alarm so that you don't miss those pain medication you need to take throughout your first 2 to 3 days for sure. If you can, take a supplement or any anti-nausea pills. You could ask for them. They actually gave me some anti-nausea pills I was able to use for the first couple of days. And then don't take Oxy on an empty stomach. I can't just reiterate that. Always have something with it. My wife made me a P&J sandwich. I split it up in quarters, and that lasts me through the night. And don't guess. If you have any questions about your pain meds or Tylenol or anything going on, call your doctor. Call your physician's care center. They're there to help you 24/7. Just make sure you're managing your pain medicine effectively. And then start your Miralax on day 2. You know that you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom because of the anesthesia and the Oxy for a good probably day 3 or 4. So make sure you start your Miralax on day 2, and you don't want things to come out sideways. So do it before you have to go number 2. The number 4 do is get a recliner. Everyone talks about renting one, borrowing from a friend, but you're gonna have to sleep in a seated up position. So any recliner will do. I actually have a couple choices, but you want something that can kick your legs up, that's comfortable to sleep in. And then you also have to be careful of how high these armrests are, because you want it so your arm gets propped up. The other do of recliner and sleep that I've had the hardest time with is finding the most comfortable position. And so remember I talked about those 3 Costco pillow packs? Because this armrest is a little higher, I only needed a thinner pillow over here. And you want to make sure that your arm is supported so you don't have much weight on your shoulder. Now, not all recliners are alike, I found out. So the ideal position, if 90 degrees is straight up and down, you want to be at about 100 to 140 degrees in position. And so you can tilt back a little bit, but this is about ideal for going to sleep. You've got your legs out, you got your pillow supported. I have another pillow here. I have my table close by so I could get my water, remotes, my medication, and my phone so that I could call anyone that I needed to. But this is the ideal position. Another do is make sure you write down your pain medication and the doses you're taking and the time. Super important, because when you're on oxy or on medication, you never know what kind of time you're at. So set alarms, write down your medication, have everything ready to go on your left hand for your non-dominant arm, your remote controls, and plenty of water along the way. Now, although you found the recliner, sleep, you might want more than one option, I found. So you might want one for the day and one for the night, or if you can't sleep in one, go to the other one. But these bed wedges were critical to go back and forth for me. And so you have it set up so that you got your angle again at about 100 degrees to 140 degrees. It's adjustable up and down. You've got your leg support here. And then because there's no armrest, I have a thicker pillow that I put here that'll support my arm. So that way when I get in it and I'm all set, I've got my support pillow here. I've got my angle at about that 100 degrees to 140 degrees. And then I use my other pillow just to support my arm. And then I need that grabber to pull the sheets over. But again, this is about the ideal position for going to sleep in bed with the bed wedge. Again, encourage you to get the recliner. The bed wedges are pretty affordable. It'll give you multiple options. Call me crazy, but another great idea if you don't have a recliner and you can't get to bed is you could use the passenger seat of your car. It's got a great recline position. It'll get you in that 100 to 140 degree range. Passenger side typically goes back further and allows you to adjust electronically. And the cool thing is you got cup holders, you got a screen, you can mount your phone up there to watch any movies. But this is an alternative, and especially maybe in your garage so your neighbors don't see you, or make sure you bring plenty of blankets to support your to keep warm, and also a pillow to support your brace just like you did in the recliner or in the bed wedge. The don't for sleep and recliners is that they never really tell you these new recliners have many positions you could be in. Again, this is the ideal position between about 110 and about 140 degrees back. But watch what happens when I start going back to get flat. Now my arm in position is starting to drag, my shoulder's starting to feel heavy. It'll hurt a lot more because there's more weight being put on. So the flatter you get, because a lot of these recliners now go all the way flat. The other problem is it clicked. And so now my recliner is locked in this position. I have no way to get out really. I can go up or down, but I'm stuck in this reclined position. So just make sure you get familiar with your recliner. Again, you want to be in that 110 degree to 140 degree range. Don't get a recliner that has the position on the opposite arm you have. So I encourage you to get an electric push button one that goes up and down. But as you can see here, I had to create a mechanism on the armchair side because I had to put a cord here that I could actually lift it up once I'm in. So the suggestion to you is make sure that you have your kickstand on the opposite hand, or else you're going to have to do something to make it work for other positions. The don'ts of the bed rest is that you don't want to scratch too far down, that you're again past that 140 degree range, because again it'll feel really heavy on your weight, it'll be uncomfortable on your back. So make sure you're seated up correctly. And then also don't not use anything here on your left arm. When they're uneven, it just is uncomfortable. So make sure you got something to support your left arm as well, so that way they're about easy in position. The number 5 do I have is do some exercise. You have 3 other things, another arm, 2 legs that work just fine. I was so scared about not moving this, what I couldn't do. Could I take a walk? Couldn't I take a walk? Could I exercise? Could I not exercise? There were no videos that tell you what you could do or can't do just right after surgery. So the first thing is when doctor says you could actually take your sling off to take a shower, and you just don't want any weight on it. So if it's laying down, the first thing I found on day 2 is you could actually use your other arm to support it, but actually like stretch out your wrist, do some wrist exercise, bend your elbow. That's the part that's in the sling that's the most. Just don't put any weight on this. You only want to do this 2 to 3 times a day, and then you want to get it back in your sling. But just doing stuff to make sure that your arms have circulation and that your hand is working and that you can just stretch out your elbow is good. Consult your doctor, your PT, all that stuff. But I did find after day 2, it's good just to get it out of the sling, keeping it same position, but just taking sure that you have your hands and your elbow working. So after day 2, you can start doing some other things. I talked about how to stretch your hands and get your elbow going, but you want it in your sling most of the time. But let's talk about some exercise you can do on usually day 2 after your surgery, or you might wait till day 3 after your oxy. Let's take it out on the road. This is a little commercial for Peloton app. I went out and bought a smart TV. It has the app on it. I don't have any of the Peloton equipment. I have my own spin bike, my own weight set, and my own rowing machine. But the app is awesome because it has everything you need from strength to cardio to stretching to cycling. All things you could do with your feet and your other arm. And the cool thing is about the app will allow you to stay kind of in exercise because you got some great people yelling at you and telling you what to do. Just make sure you use the filters for low impact and watch your time limits. Don't overdo it. So after day 3, I was ready to do some exercise. I spin. I've got the Peloton app, not a spin bike, but you see my posture, I'm able to stay upright. I use my mesh arm sling so that when I work out, if I sweat, I'm not ruining my main one that I use every day. So all I'm trying to do is keep it in the upright position, but it does allow me to change resistance. So I could go higher or lower, but I'm not going to get out of the saddle. I'm not going to lean forward. If you lean forward, you might bump it with your knee. So just have some stability. I use these pedal shoes that lock it in place. So that way it just locks me and has me more stable for spinning. I found this is a great way to just get your legs motion, you're stable so you're not having any falls. Just be careful getting on and off the bike. Now again, I use the Peloton app for lifting some small weights with my left arm, my non-dominant arm. I still have my workout sling, so it's a mesh sling. It's staying in its position. And you do have the ability on the class type to select like arms and light weights. You definitely want to use your light weights and basically working out with your left arm. You want to keep your posture steady. I have a workout bench seat, so that way I'm steady. I'll do some exercises here, but all light weights, 2 pounds, 5 pounds, the max I've used is 10, but allows you to actually keep your left arm in check while your right arm is getting weak from surgery. So you can see I'm still using my mesh sling because as I work out, I'm not worried about getting it sweaty and I can wash it later. I've got small hand weights and I have this bench so I'm more stable. Again, the whole idea is to keep all weight off your arm, but it doesn't mean you can't do stuff with your left arm or your legs for that matter during your workout. If you really get crazy, Peloton added rowing. I don't have a Peloton rower, but I do have a rowing machine. And it is nice to stretch your backs and legs, and you can do it one-handed. You want to make sure your feet are locked in and that you're stable. Again, you're not putting any weight on your right arm, but you are able to actually do some stretching and exercising with your left hand and your legs during this time. The number 5 don't is don't let your body or other parts that didn't have surgery become too weak. It's so easy to get in that recliner, binge Netflix, Prime, and sports, and just get sucked into that recliner all day and night. You know, after day 2 and you're off sort of the oxy, you want to start getting exercise and actually start working your other parts. So you still have another arm and 2 legs. So I found on day 3, short walks just to around the house was good, maybe to the mailbox and back. Short walk, something that's nothing that's gonna ruin you. Just don't do anything that you could fall or be unstable with. I also found you don't want to do anything that's high impact. So if you're going to go on a spin bike or if you're going to lift any weights with your left arm, sit down, or in a spin bike, make sure that you're not going up and down. You know, be solid, be firm. do everything in stationary so that you're not affecting your posture here at all. So look for exercises that you could do with your other appendages at work so that you're not just latent and sucked into a couch all day. And whatever you do, don't fall. I mean, you have spent a lot of money on this. You don't want to do anything that's going to put you in jeopardy of falling or re-aggravating your shoulder. So consult your doctor of what you can do for exercise, but I did learn that a little exercise is good, but just don't do anything that puts your arm at risk. This is your bonus due. Tell your caregiver, your wife, your spouse that you love them and you apologize ahead of time for how you're going to be in the next 2 to 3 days. Use text. Make sure you wait about 2 minutes to send your text so you can consolidate what you need, especially if you're in a 2-story house. Having my wife go up and down all the time was not fun. Also ask how they're doing. My wife unfortunately hurt her back when she was doing the pushing my recliner up. That sucks. So make sure they're taken care of too. And if you have to, share your ice packs, share your stress toys with them, your stress balls, your massage aids. Know that they might need some help as well. The bonus don't get too frustrated. This is an uncomfortable situation. It's hard. Your caregivers are trying to help you. Don't get a bell. Use your phone, use text. And again, don't send texts like one after another, I need some ice water. And then you come up and say, oh crap, I need my light turned off. Try to consolidate your text. Wait 5 minutes before you hit that text. So that way you could actually have 4 or 5 things you might need. That's the biggest thing I learned when I was doing it, is just trying to minimize the amount of time people were coming in and helping me with easy tasks. And also don't forget you have 2 feet. So get up, you can start doing things on day 3 and 4. You can start helping out around the house. Just be careful of any pain medication you're on. You don't want to get dizzy, but you do have 2 feet and another arm, and it's good to get moving. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Subscribe, like, make comments. Those are my top 5 do's and don'ts that I didn't see anywhere after my shoulder surgery. I made 2 other videos if you're interested. One is how to put one of these slings on. It's a quick and easy way to do because it's got this collarbone. And the top 40 things you should have before shoulder surgery that you could get from Amazon or your store or even the night before. It's the convenience. So those are the 2 other videos. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you, and I hope anything in this video helps you through this process. Hang in there. It'll be worth it in the end.